So one of the issues they have is games that were working yesterday often won't turn on because, you know, just moving these things around is very difficult. So for the last like 6, 7 games, they've had half of them not turn on, and then obviously a game that's not working isn't nearly as valuable. So they've been struggling to just get through these last few games. We probably had the camera off for 30 minutes, but here we're about to get back into the action. What was this, Terraforce? Okay, this is a game very similar to another one we have.
If you try to blow that up, you get to go to the. Hit the blue button.
Oh, so it goes like horizontal and everything. That's pretty cool, actually. So I could leave if I wanted to.
Yeah, but I think there's like a power up to destroy both those ships.
Ah, that's a cool game. All right, so we're coming back up to these Vroom games. It's a Central Texas company that put games pretty much in daycares and like leased them. So normally they're really trashed, but this guy bought a lot of like generic JAMA PCBs that have become super rare. So we often will try to buy it for the game. Everyone here that's left generally knows what's in there, and it's everyone trying to figure out how much you're willing to pay to lug this huge, terrible game cabinet away for the good game that's inside. So we'll probably end up buying a couple of them. Hey! Over here. Keep going. Right here. Put me in. Put me in. Hey! Goodness. I accidentally bid against myself there. We're buying an R-type board with some decent parts, and it is a nice working original condition. We've seen these R-type boards get just crazy valuable lately, and we're trying to get a dedicated R-type out in the next few weeks. So being able to squeeze out a quick board with a decent game, not a bad purchase for us. So this one is a Nintendo Super System. No one probably knows what's in there, but that's getting a pretty valuable PCB at this point, and it plays SNES style games with their arcade release. So we'll see how it goes.
So $300, $114, $300, $114, and right there, hey, look at that, look at that.
So that was a working Super System board set. We have a Nintendo Super System we've been kind of working on getting out, but being able to buy a working Super System board set plus a decent cabinet, decent game for $300 is a pretty good deal. It's a big blue cabinet. It looks like the Series 1, and inside of it, it has this game. It's called, what was it called? Alligator. What was it? Alligator Hunt, which is some weird space alien game. It's just really, really bizarre and interesting. I imagine a lot of people have been eyeing it though. I imagine the bidding's about to get pretty insane. At Free Play, we have pinball at each location, different numbers, but generally like 8 to 12, depending on the location. But we actually have the Dallas Pinball Project coming, which is going to aim to have about 40 pinball tables on the floor at any one time. So we're always on the lookout. There's some kind of interesting stuff here. You don't see a fully working Rescue 911 very often. Now it's a little rough, and it's kind of had like probably a difficult life before it came here. But whoever bought it off the floor really loved it. They've converted all the way to LCD or LED lights. They've got it fully working. The helicopter, that's really cool. It's like a magnetic ball feature, still working. And I'm kind of interested. We'd have to take it all apart, take it down to the wood, and get a new overlay for it. But other than that, it seems like it's in really great shape. There's a Williams Getaway, also kind of a cool game. Looks in good shape for its age. And then there's a Lord of the Rings, which I think just about everyone at the auction is here to try to buy this Lord of the Rings. So it could, I think the highest I've ever seen one sell for in great condition was like $5,500 or $6,000. I think we're probably going to see that broken, and this one is not in great condition. But we'll definitely be bidding on it. We'll see where it goes. And it looks like they're going to start all the way over there. They really know how to hold those pinballs till the end. So everyone here that's at the auction, you see their numbers are still pretty strong, is pretty much here just for pinball. But they're going to force us to go through these driving games. There's no real driving game. I mean, I think there's some cool driving games here. We're not going to try to buy any of them. We might buy one more arcade, but I think I'll talk to Josh in a second. We'll go over the list, but I think we're all here just for pinball. So we'll see how it goes. I just checked. I think we're at 10 stand-ups and 2 cocktails that we've bought today. Given this current size, that's pretty average for us. It's weird to have so many of them, just kind of like parts and PCB buys, but we take what they give us and we buy as much as we can.
Speed up, so stay. And 50, down here to 350, now 75, 40, now 4, down 4. 400. 55, now get it down here to 4, down 400, get it down here to 4, all done. Sort of Corey by 375, 114, 375.
All right, so we just snagged that Blazion. It's got a pretty good monitor. It's in kind of a weird Valley cat that I don't actually recognize. I've never seen one quite like that. And I've seen a lot of cabinets, but it's a super rare game that while it might be available for sales elsewhere, we might never have another real chance to buy that PCB that we know is in good working condition. So we were able to snag it for, I think, $275 or $325. Honestly, we were willing to go near $1,000 for that game. So it's that kind of thing where everyone's going to think we overpaid, but for us, we think we got a great deal. Now this right here, this Wing War, I've never seen this before, and it's the craziest dogfight game I've ever seen. We're not going to buy it, but it is really cool.
And 51, now get it down here to 51, now 50, 51 and a half, now 2 and a half, now 3, now half, 53 and a half. I'm at 53, don't get it down here to 53, 50. I'm at 53, don't get it down here to 50, don't get it down here to 53, 50. I'm at 53, don't get it down here to 50, don't get it down here to 53, 50. Are you done? 53, 50. Sold at 5,300, worth 114. Zone ACDC.
So, didn't go as high as we expected. That said, I mean, that's still a pretty high price for Lord of the Rings, especially after you consider the buyer premium. But ultimately, it's a pinball we need, it's a pinball we don't have, and it was playing pretty well. It's take us about 20 hours working with it right on the floor. So, we'll see. Surprised a couple of the other people didn't check it. They're kind of happy because I didn't want to have that really tough decision when it got to around the 6,000 level.
Never been on a route, guys.
We'll see how it
Never
goes.
been on a route. 32, 33. I'm at 32, 33. I'm gonna get it down here. I got you, Corey. 32, 33. I'm at 32, 33. I'm gonna get it down here to 32, 33. Now 34. Now 5. Now 6. 36. I'm at 35. I'm gonna get it down here to 36. I'm gonna get it down here to 35, 36. I'm at 35, 36. I'm gonna get it down here to 35, 36. I'm gonna get it down here to 35, 36. I'm at 35, 36, I'm gonna get it down here to 35, 36, I'm gonna get it down here to 35, 50, Corey. 35, 50.
35, 25. No, I'm out.
Sold at 3,500.
Good number, kid.
Right, so that was a seller buyback on that Getaway. They didn't actually get $3,500 for it. The seller isn't going to have to pay the auction company to take it back home. And I could tell that the seller was just going to keep bidding until some extreme number. So I went ahead and kind of toyed with him. Ran up. I would have honored all my bids, obviously, but I just knew he was willing to go to 4,200 and try to. It's kind of shady. He was trying to suck me for a little bit of extra money. I was probably willing to seriously pay 26. It's a very nice Getaway. 27, 28. But the bids after that were all fake. I knew he was going to keep going. I knew, and again, I would have honored my bid if he stopped, and he could have run up a game on me. But in general, I was just messing with him because I knew he would just get hung out with it. So the Getaway was a buyback. It's not really, it didn't sell for $3,500 or whatever. And we were never super serious about paying that, though we would have if we had to. So now the buyer will probably come back to me in an hour or two after he buys it back from the auction company and try to sell it to me, which I generally don't go for that, but if the price is right, maybe we'll end up with the Getaway. We'll see.
Now 2150. 2150.
So that's not a bad price for a Demolition Man. Still, it's still in kind of the optimal buying range. Problem is, they've not let anyone play it. We don't know if there's a switch issue or anything. All we know is that it turns on and seems to work, but no one's actually been able to play a game. There's no way to know how it's going to play when you're home. So what happened is someone just paid what's pretty much the retail price for a game that has never been tested. Demolition Man's a cool game though, so hopefully they get it home and it works perfect. That's the risk they just took. So a pretty big $2,000 risk.
So the total is 11,450.
So yeah, so we were at 11,450. Obviously the majority of it was the Lord of the Rings, which,
That's half of it.
right, yeah, so that was a 5,300. We spent 5,300 on it. Not a great price, not a bad price. I mean, probably about what it's worth. So that's how pinball works, which is kind of interesting. So anyone watching this can kind of see the difference between buying a pinball table that also is subject to a ton more maintenance versus buying, you know, a ton of really cool games. Now, all of the arcade games we bought today need work. This pinball needs less work, but still, we were able to get 10 or 11 or 12 arcade games. Did we buy 12 or 13 arcade games?
11 plus 2 cocktails.
So yeah, we bought 13 arcade games for about the same as our one pinball purchase. Now it's a great pinball, it's one of the best ever. So just kind of an interesting numbers game when you look at all of this. Now there's probably 2 or 3 arcades that we bought that weren't just board buys that might make it to the arcade floor. So in terms of total investment and what we're gonna see in the arcade, the Lord of the Rings might be more likely to actually show up, but that's how it works. It's a numbers game. We have to buy a ton of parts, and we'll see how it goes. We're gonna go head out. We're gonna go check out. I mean, there's normally a pretty big line, and I'm sure you'll see some footage of us some more, loading the games up, getting everything out of here, and hopefully we're moving really fast, because it normally takes us a long time to load this many games. All right, guys, so while we're here waiting in line, we wanted to kind of go over just to recap what we bought today. We got the 2 new old stock monitors, 19-inch. They were the ones that had the VGA. We're not sure if they're tri-sync or not. We're not sure if we'll be able to work with the old games, but a brand new CRT is still a brand new CRT. So we're super happy about that. Then we got the Mooncrested Cocktail that was in really great condition. It's a game that is just an awesome game. We're not sure it'll ever survive on a free play floor, but I couldn't pass up the chance to buy such a nice game for what was a reasonable price at $400. Then we grabbed the Centipede Cocktail, potentially for our Denton location. They don't have a Centipede yet, and it's a little smaller. A cocktail might work out great there. Then we picked out a Play Choice 10. Rough cosmetically, but loaded with 10 really awesome games. Really will help bolster we have Play Choice 10s at every single one of our arcades. So at the beginning, we have 30 Play Choice 10 carts out at any time. They only made something like 52 or something total games for the Play Choice 10. So being able to pick up 10 for a reasonable price, really easy. Plus we have all the extra parts that come with the actual Play Choice 10. Then we picked up a Galaga. It'll probably go out on routes as part of our Arcade Anywhere project. Then we picked up the Polaris. I'm actually super excited about that, a title game. Really cool title game, kind of goofy, but hopefully we can put it out next to some of the other title games and just have like a nice title row at one of our arcades. And then everything else in terms of arcade games were just raw board buys that happened to be in full cabinets. So we got a spare R-Type board. We've got an R-Type right now at Let's Play Gaming Expo. We're gonna bring it home to Free Play Richardson after the expo and after a little bit of refurbishment. Then we have a TerraForce that it looked like the sequel to TerraForce. We're not really sure if there's 2 versions of TerraForce or what, but it was a really cool rare board we were able to snag. Then we got one that had a working super system in it. That was great. Then Alligator Hunt and a Big Blue. The PCB is not super valuable, but we both want the Big Blue cabinet, and Alligator Hunt is such a goofy game. It's just an awesome PCB to add to the collection. Then we bought that Hyper Pack. We did some research on it. I kind of heard of this before. Hyper Pack is a licensed but non-Namco Pac-Man game. So they got the Pac-Man license, made Hyper Pack, but Namco has generally now disassociated themselves with ever licensing Pac-Man for any sort of other arcade game. So Hyper Pack is like the ugly stepsister of the Pac-Man arcade world, but it actually plays great. It's a really cool game. It's just not loved by Namco. Then we got Liquid Kids, Super Buster Bros, Blazion. Blazion is an insanely cool game, insanely rare. And like I said we might not ever have another chance to buy a Blazion board, at least one that we have already verified is authentic, working in that kind of condition. So some of these kind of junky cabinets, it might seem a little like we're overpaying, but we're really just trying to get these PCBs. We'll get the parts out of them that are usable, but the PCBs were the target. And then of course the Lord of the Rings pinball, $5,300 plus auction fees, probably a little high, but that is lower than I expected it to go, and it was something we needed to add to the collection. We have every top 30 pinball game in our collection right now except for Lord of the Rings, and we've had like 6 different deals fall through. We knew we could grab it today, so we just went ahead and picked up Lord of the Rings, and that brought us to about $12,000, who knows after auction fees. So we're gonna get through the line to the cashier, and we'll check back in as soon as we can start loading the games. All right, so we're all loaded. It's been a long day. We're gonna go shoot some more film, different for some podcasts. Head to the Let's Play Gaming Expo, but that's it. We've loaded the truck, bought a whole truck's load. We're done for the day. See y'all next time.